Good morning. We're changing it up today. We're going to go live. My name is CJ Johnson and this is Better Pickleball. And what I wanted to do today was to answer a couple of the questions that you have emailed to me. And it was such a lovely, beautiful day. I thought I'd give you a quick tour, lots of sun coming out this morning, of where I get to play pickleball, at least for half of the year. As you can tell, I'm probably at I'm at a big tennis center. We've got 12 courts here in Incline Village, northeast corner of Lake Tahoe. It's a beautiful facility. Over on this side, I'm trying not to get the sun in your eyes, but over on this side, let's see, I did get the sun in your eyes. We've got, if you can see them, we've got 4 courts marked for pickleball here. They're going to be permanent courts next year. That's how much it's taken off here. And then behind me, we have another 4 lined on a tennis court. 12 tennis courts total. And we play half the year outside, and we play a portion of the year indoors. And that's going to be one of the subjects for today. We're going to talk about advice as well as indoor versus outdoor. Speaking of live, wanted to make sure that you knew that coming up on Tuesday night, October 31st, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live. And it's going to be on the Age Well with CJ page. We're going to cover the topics that impact us the most as we're aging athletes. What happens to our bodies over 50 and how do we stay healthy, competitive, and injury-free? A few weeks ago, I did a survey. Thank you to everyone who was kind enough to answer the questions and share your concerns. What came out of that is there is a group of you who are only interested in pickleball. So Better Pickleball is going to stay just exactly as it is. Every week I'm going to post a new video over on this channel dealing with all pickleball topics. However, more than half of you wanted information more than pickleball. You wanted to know about health and fitness. Injury was a big topic. Lord knows, once we get to a certain age, we end up having a few aches and pains, right? So, amen. So that's the purpose of that show. It's going to be 6 p.m. on Facebook Live. 6 p.m. Pacific, that is, over on Facebook Live. So those 2 shows will be separate. So make sure to join me over there. I will put a link in the show notes below when I get to that later. In the meantime, we're going to do 2 topics because I get so many emails. And if you would like me to cover a topic either on Better Pickleball or over on the Age Well with CJ show, please email me at cj@betterpickleball.com. I'll get that message. I promise you, so many of these shows have already been done because of your suggestions. But advice. That was one of the things that came up, and it's really funny that it came up because this show started due to advice. My background is in teaching both golf and skiing. I'm a golf professional, I'm a ski professional. I've been teaching motion and movement for years. I started playing pickleball, and I started playing very casually with a group of people who didn't necessarily know a lot about pickleball, and found myself getting all kinds of conflicting instruction. When I finally got with somebody who knew something about pickleball, it seemed like I needed to unlearn all these things that I had supposedly learned. As an athlete, somebody who's been coached and somebody who's been a coach, I know that it's way easier to learn emotion correctly than it is to unlearn emotion and create a new pattern. That's why this show started. In fact, my very first video was about managing advice. Have you ever gotten advice? If you have, say yes down in the comments below. I just want to see how many of you have ever gotten advice. Put it down in the comments, because I think that's probably everybody has gotten advice at some point in time or the other. Generally, advice follows a couple things. So here's a few rules that I've adopted for giving as well as receiving advice. Number 1, if you are giving unsolicited, and the key word there is unsolicited advice, stop it. Stop it. If somebody has not specifically asked you for advice, just don't share it. I've seen more sideways looks, and pickleball is such a social game. That's one of the really fun things about it. you don't need to do it. Now, if you have seen something, play with somebody regularly, or you've seen something that you believe would help a person to improve, in between games, take that person aside, ask them. Say something like, I saw something when we were playing together the other day. Would you like to, could I share it with you? Are you open to that? And if they say yes, great. And if not, keep your mouth shut. Then go ahead and share it with them. The worst thing to do is correct somebody on the pickleball court, to give them 5, 6, 7, 8 things to think about. That just, nobody can perform that way. I don't care how good a player you are. So that's the very first thing. If you're giving unsolicited advice, stop it. Now, if you're getting unsolicited advice, you can very nicely say to somebody, I'd love to talk more about some of those things, but I can really only focus on 1 or 2 things at a time. What one thing should I focus on right now? And that may give you something positive to focus on and to think about. Well, that person feels validated and feels well, and that whole thing. So those are a couple ways to stop, to maybe stop some of the unsolicited advice that you might be getting. Another thing is, and I guess this is maybe a shameless self-plug, you can always point them to the show. If you saw somebody doing something and you think one of my videos might be able to help them, that way you're not the bad guy in telling them, hey, I saw this great video over on betterpickleball.com. Give it a look and see if you agree with me. What do you think about that video? That's another way, and like I said, shameless little plug there for me. So advice, that's kind of the big topic that you've talked to me about. The second big topic, and this came up after doing I recently did a video about court shoes. And I did that video about court shoes. As you can see, we're starting to get some great sunshine here, and it kind of keeps moving around, and I'm trying to stay in the shade. I did that video about court shoes specifically because I saw so many people coming to the courts, having incidences, is that a word? Having issues, sometimes even falling. I saw somebody break an ankle last year in Aloha Leslie. She mentioned that she went in a pair of running shoes, and I think she had an ankle. I know she certainly had a leg injury. So I saw a lot of people having issues with shoes. So I did that blog post on shoes, but the video post on shoes, but what it also brought up was the question about indoor versus outdoor shoes. Tell me, if you don't mind, because I'd love to know this for future videos, because it's November here in Incline Village, and hopefully in about 3 weeks we're going to have tons of snow on these courts, hopefully. But we're going to be moving inside. So if you would, down below, post whether you play, if you play the majority of your pickleball indoor, just put the word indoor. If you play the majority outdoor, put outdoor. Let's see where everybody is playing at. So the question came out about what are some of the differences about playing indoor versus outdoor. So let me just first of all start with the shoes. You need to have a good pair of court shoes. I don't care if you're playing outdoors or indoors. The major difference that I found personally with indoor versus outdoor court shoes are the sole and its ability to provide traction to grip the court. For indoors, I wear a pair of Asics volleyball shoes. So for indoor court shoes, and if you don't know why you want court shoes, go back and look at the video. I'm not going to go back into that today. But indoor court shoes are built for that indoor surface. So your choices essentially are volleyball or basketball shoes. The main difference between really a volleyball shoe and a basketball shoe is often the ankle support. Basketball's shoes are more readily available in high tops, although I have seen a couple high top volleyball shoes. But it's the traction that's provided on the court. That's kind of the main difference between an indoor and an outdoor shoe. Now, certainly you can wear your outdoor shoes inside. You may not get as good a traction. You really don't want to wear your indoor shoes outside. Those are made for a soft surface, and you are going to lose the tread very, very quickly. So 2 pairs of shoes. is really best there. So that's the first thing I see when in playing inside versus outside. The other thing that's really different, obviously, is the light, being able to see. Now, I will tell you this morning, you're going to notice if you kind of look, I'm going to shoot the court above me. No matter what court we choose today, we are going to be dealing with some shadows this morning. So we're going to deal with moving from the inside or from the shadow side into the light side. And that's going to be tough to see. Those are some of the same things that you get when you're playing inside. Hey, one of my partners showed up, so I'm going to turn around and introduce you to Jeannie. Jeannie, wave at everybody, I'm live. She didn't bring my boyfriend, Virgil. Virgil is a beautiful, about 80-pound black lab, and he comes to watch us play pickleball regularly. But anyway, we're talking about vision and being able to see. So that's usually the biggest thing that I've noticed. Now, for those of you who wear contacts, and hopefully I also did a post on this, you're wearing protection on top of those, you might want to try contacts versus glasses. That may be something that'll be beneficial to you inside versus outside. You might want to try and change the lens in your protection glasses. Maybe go from a clear lens to something that's a little tinted. Again, inside versus outside. It really is playing around with it. The other thing that can make a big difference, I think more indoors versus outdoors, is the color of the ball. If you're consistently playing with one color ball, try something different. We've tried the typical, you see probably orange and pink the most. We've tried black. In our gym, we have a green padded wall for gym activities. And it turns out when you're playing in the center court, the black ball is easiest to see. I know that sounds really strange, doesn't it? But that's the one that's easiest to see. If you're having some vision issues, I also did a post a while back. I'll put a link in the show notes to it on how to improve your vision, because as we age, right, that's one of the things that definitely changes. But there are exercises that you can do to increase your vision coming from across the court to your paddle. So anyway, those are the two things I wanted to answer for you today, is to talk about advice as well as the indoor versus outdoor. If you have any questions on either of those two topics, or if you want to suggest a topic for future videos, I definitely will go live every once in a while here on YouTube as well. Make sure you put it down in the comments below. In the meantime, it's about time for me to get warmed up. If you're going out to play pickleball today, I hope you have an absolutely amazing day, because together we can train smart, live bold, and age well.